Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon what time of day you are watching this. I wanted to come and talk today briefly about what it takes to create goals. And a lot of us hear of like SMART goals and things of that nature, but I really wanted to narrow down and kind of touch on what goals can look like for us. So, one thing that I often hear women say is that, all right, I've set all these goals, I have all these things that I want to accomplish, but I can't seem to manage it all, right? And so what I usually ask them, I start off saying, well, how many goals do you have? And I'm not talking about your to-do list on the day-to-day things that you want to accomplish, but how many goals are you actively working on at a time? And majority of the time, I hear these women are working on multiple goals. So they're trying to save money. They're trying to eat healthy. They're trying to make sure they read every day. They're trying to exercise. They are trying to buy a house. So they're trying to do all these things, right? And while having goals is great, having too many goals can become overwhelming and actually cause the reverse effect where you sort of just throw in the towel. And so let me give you an example. My aunt and my uncle set out to become vegans a while ago. When they set out to become vegans, that was their sole focus for several months. They were not focused on necessarily hitting the gym a certain number of days. Now, they went to the gym, but it wasn't like a set in stone goal. Their set in stone goal was becoming vegan. And once they were able to fully, take that goal on and make it part of their day-to-day life, and it was now no longer a goal, but more of a habit or a lifestyle, then they were able to incorporate other goals in. So now they wanted to budget friendly for their vegan food, right? Next, they want to start working out exactly 5 days a week. And after that, they may consider hiring a trainer, so on and so forth. But you never want to take on 58 goals at one time. I personally was guilty of that. When I started my business, I'm like, oh, this business thing seems fun. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start, my coaching business. I am going to start a skincare business. I'm going to work full time. I'm going to go to school and expect to graduate in the next 3 years. I am going to hire a personal trainer is what I was doing. I'm going to save money. So I had all these goals. And needless to say, I was dividing my efforts and myself into all these different avenues, but I wasn't good at any one area. I wasn't putting my effort in any one thing. Here I am. I have a page on Facebook and it has 2 different business things going. How confusing is that? Here I am saying, all right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on my paper, but I still have a book that I also want to work on. So I was bouncing between a doctoral program paper and my book. So therefore, I wasn't doing well in any one area because I'm all over the place yet again. And so my plea to you is to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with 50 million goals, but really focusing on maybe 2 to 3 goals that you can hone in on. Now, that doesn't mean that like you can't do your day-to-day to-do list. Of course you can do that. Yes, you need to clean. Yes, you need to do your kids' homework with them. Yes, you need to cook. The day-to-day stuff, right? But you don't want to overwhelm yourself with 48 million things that you need to do, right? You don't want to say, all right, I'm writing a book, I'm writing a paper, I'm going to clean, I'm going to go to the grocery store, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to pay for this family vacation. You do not want to overwhelm yourself. So let's talk about the different categories. So we have lifetime goals as the first category. These are goals that you hope to accomplish over your lifetime, okay? And then we have long-term goals. So these are goals that you hope to accomplish over a long period of time. So maybe that's like graduating from college. Maybe that's getting another license or certificate. Then you have short-term goals. These are like super, super short goals. They may be a month or somewhere up to like 6 months in progress. So maybe that is like you've already kind of started on your book and now you're giving yourself a month to finish it. That can be an example of a short-term goal. Then those are time period goals. Then outside of that, you have different categories. And I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I'm not forgetting any categories. You have career goals. So those are goals that you want to accomplish for your career. So maybe you want to get another certificate to stand out in your career. Maybe you want to apply for a new job. Then you have financial goals. So maybe that's you want to save more money. Maybe you want to have 3 months worth of your living expenses in your savings account. Then you have personal development goals. So maybe that is like me. I hate public speaking. So maybe it's that you sign up for different programs to practice your public speaking skills because you know that that's going to help you be successful ultimately if you can accomplish how to be a good public speaker. Then you have educational goals. So maybe that's going back to school. That could be getting another certificate. That could be attending a conference. Anything to raise your educational awareness and help you to reach the potential that you want to reach as far as your education is concerned. Then you might have relationship goals. So those are goals that you have in your relationship. So be more engaged with your children. Maybe that's get married. Maybe that's start looking for a mate. So those are relationship goals. And then you have physical or health goals. So these are goals that you have that you want to set to allow yourself to be healthy, or physically active. So it could be like hiring a trainer, going to the gym 3 days a week, eating meat only once a week, removing dairy from my diet. So those could be different things that you would engage in. So when you're thinking of those, I feel like every person should have a goal for every category. You should always be growing. Now, you shouldn't be trying to work on 58 goals at one time, but you should always have a goal for every single category. So educational goals doesn't always mean you have to go back to school. It can be, like I said, a conference. It could be reading. It could be doing different things, hiring a mentor, those sort of things. Anything that is going to expand your brain. See, a lot of people assume that like once they accomplish a goal that they're done. When I wrote my first book, I could have said, my goal was to be an author, right? And I wrote my first book, Quick Tips for Busy Women. And I could have said, all right, well, I've accomplished that first goal. So now I'm done. But that's not fair. That's not fair to myself because we're made to always be growing. And so if I always want to grow, I always have to continue to set goals. So when that first book was done, I needed to set another goal. And then after that other goal is accomplished, I need to set some more goals. So you always want to have things that you're working on. And when you have a goal for each area of your life, you're able to reflect back on those goals and say, okay, well, I accomplished my financial goal last month. Now this month, I want to start working on my educational goal. Or this month, I want to start working on my relationship goal, my personal development goal. You want to always be expanding as you're working on these goals. You never want to become complacent. And although a lot of people assume that getting in your comfort zone or being comfortable is the great way to be, you will never reach your potential in your comfort zone. And so you have to push yourself outside of that. I'm learning as I'm going through different trainings on personal speaking more and more about myself. I'm learning about confidence and being courageous and things like that. So I'm learning about myself as I'm expanding on my personal development goals. And it's been very eye-opening. Now, had I stayed in my comfort zone and been like, all right, well, I just will only talk to people on the phone when they can't see my face and I won't stand in front of large crowds, I probably would not have the opportunity to expand my business. I wouldn't have the opportunity to expand who I am as a person. And I just would be stuck. I'd be stagnant. And being stuck or stagnant is not a place that you want to be. So in my new book, I talk about, it's called the Goal Getter Guide. It's my latest book. It's my 5th book. It comes out very soon. I will definitely put the link below so that you're able to check out where you can purchase it. It's on pre-order now. It's amazing. And I talk about key strategies that I have used to not only identify goals, but to actually reach them. Because it's great to have 50 million goals written around. It's great to have a vision board with things on it. But what does it mean if nothing comes to fruition with your goal? And so you really want to be able to live out your goal. And one of the things that I talk about is the golden goal setting rule. And so I take the acronym GOAL, and I break that down into how you can know that the goal is meant for you to reach. So the first letter in GOAL is G. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get excited about your goal. See, many times people are like, all right, I want to eat healthy, but I'm not really excited about this. No, changing your diet is not going to be fun. Eating food that you may not love is not going to be fun. But what is the outcome? Does that outcome make you excited? Maybe you got that beach body, you got the bikini on, you're able to travel. What does it feel like when you lose 2 pant sizes or when you lose 20 pounds? What does it feel like when you're able to chase your kids around in the backyard and not be out of breath? Get excited about the outcome of the goal as well, because when you're excited about the outcome, that gives you the motivation, that gives you the drive, that gives you the momentum to push through and actually be excited to work for that goal. So I remember when I was doing some healthy eating stuff, I was getting rid of dairy, and it was like life-changing for me. It was like horrifying for me. I had to remember like, oh, I do want a flat stomach. I do want to be able to be healthy. I don't want to gain weight because it is a baby growth hormone, cow growth hormone. I don't want to do those things. I want to have this outcome that I desire. And so what I did is I got desperate. I started writing like little quotes and notes to myself on my pantry. I even would look at pictures of like Victoria's Secret models when I would get the little magazine in the mail so that I could remember like, wow, they didn't get those bodies by accident. Those are things that they work for. So you want to get excited about the goal. And if you can't find yourself getting super excited about the goal, you want to at least get excited about the outcome, because the outcome is what you're aiming towards. The second letter in goal is O. So you want to make sure that you open up your schedule. See, a lot of people think that when they're setting goals, things will just fall in their lap. The goals will just make sense. Things will just happen. It's not the way it's going to be. You have to be intentional about planning for your goals. So when I was writing my book, no, I'm not just magically going to find time to write my book. I am going to have to make sure I wake up early or stay up late. Set aside some time, get rid of TV time, say no to happy hour. I have to be very strategic about the way in which I am incorporating that writing goal into my schedule. And so you have to do the same as you're working on your goal. If you want to start saving money, what will you be taking out of your schedule that will open up opportunities for you to save money? Maybe that's not going to happy hour. Maybe that's not doing this family vacation twice a year, but instead breaking it down to once a year. Maybe it's not, going to Target 50 times a week and hoping to buy one thing and buying $90 worth of things, which I did this morning. Don't judge. And so you really want to be intentional about opening up your schedule so that you're making sure that you're making time for the goal to be put in place and the goal to actually be reached. The third thing is A, and so that's allow for support and accountability. Again, reaching a goal is really hard, especially when you do it in an isolated form. When I started my business, I tried to work on my business alone. I was like, all right, I got this. How hard can a business be? I'll just tell people that I have a business and people will come to me. I had no idea how much pressure and how many things would be behind that would cause me to want to just throw in the towel, that would cause me to just want to give up. And so I had to let myself know that I needed to have somebody in my corner that I could bounce ideas off of. Who could I call when the going got tough? Who could I call for suggestions? Who could I call that would give me strategies and things to implement so that I would be able to be successful? And just when I decided to open up and share with my mother some of the things that I was working on, small little things she would do would take me so far in my business. She would call me and say like, hey, how's your book coming along? And I'd be like, dang, I didn't write yet today. Let me remember to get to writing. Or she'd call me and she'd say, I really, really liked your post today. Make sure you keep posting stuff like that. Or your post spoke to me about this. And so I had that accountability of somebody calling in, checking, doing reminders, even giving me like feedback is really, really important when you're working on goals. So the same would go for you. Let's say that you decide that you want to, work out more. You don't necessarily have to get somebody that comes to the gym with you, but maybe if you tell your husband like, hey, I really want to lose weight. And so every time you sit down and you're, getting a bag of chips and sitting in front of the TV to watch a movie, he's like, hey, hon, aren't you going to go ahead to the gym today? And they can say it in a loving way to remind you like, oh, shoot, I need to get myself to the gym like ASAP. So you want to make sure that you allow for accountability and support that you need. And then the last thing is L, which stands for loyalty needs to last. And what I mean by this is like a lot of people start goals and stop them. 81% of people want to write a book, but less than 3% do it. I think I read a statistic that said by the end of January of every year, like 90% of people have already given up on their goals. What is that about? The problem is that people are not loyal to their goals. They're not focused on their goals. They're not dedicated to their goals. And so they say that they're dedicated, but there's nothing that's showing that they're really interested in this goal. They're just kind of like wanting it in the moment. So the best way to make sure that you're staying loyal to your goal is to make sure that it's something you actually want to reach, then to focus on the outcome again. Because when you're focused on the outcome and you know it's something that you want to reach, you will put in the effort to do it. When I wrote my first book, before I wrote my first book, I wanted to write a book. I wasn't dedicated to that goal. So I gave up that idea. I threw it away. And to this day, I don't even remember what the book was about. When my second book came around, it was a non-negotiable decision. It was like, I am going to write this book. I am going to sit down. I'm going to dedicate my time. I'm going to focus. And this book is going to be done. And it was a non-negotiable decision because I visualized all the results. What would the extra stream of income do for me? What would this do for my business? What would this do for me to have exposure around the world? What will it feel like to be an author? To add that to my bio? What will it look like when I'm on Amazon bestseller? And I went through that whole process of trying to make sure that I understood what that outcome was going to be. And that caused me to be extremely loyal to my goal because I was like, this is not an option anymore. And so those are the strategies that I want to share with you guys today. Obviously, my book goes more in depth on how to break down goals, how to set up systems, how to be dedicated to your goal, how to make time, how to even know when to stop. Because sometimes that's a hard question. Like, do I keep working on this because I've dedicated so much time or money or effort into this, but should I keep working on it? And so my book really goes into detail to discuss these things. I will make sure to put the link below. Definitely check it out. Especially with the new year approaching, you want to make sure that you're getting yourself off on the right foot, right? You don't want to be one of those people that by the end of January, your goal is already tossed in the trash. You want to be one of those people that actually make those goals happen. That actually at the next year, you're looking and you're like, wow, I actually reached that goal. It feels great. I have this like checklist in the back of my planner where I check off all of the goals that I've reached for the year. Or write down and then I check off all the goals that I reached. It's amazing to look at what you can accomplish in a year. So don't be fearful. Don't be worried that you've done something wrong, because goal setting is complicated. There's a lot of ins and outs of it, but my book will help to support you. I'll give you a great example and then I'll let you go. One of the things that I was working on this year is I had a really busy year. And so one of the small goals that I set as a personal development goal was to read 12 books. Now, to some people that may seem like a ton, and to other people that may seem like a very little. But again, I have a very, very extremely busy schedule. And so I knew that ideally, me reading one book a month would be reasonable. Now I am here to tell you that there's 2 months left in the year, and I've already surpassed that goal by doubling it. I now finished my 24th book yesterday, which showed me that the strategies and the systems that I put in place that allowed me to be dedicated and loyal and focused on my goals have set me up for success as I was working on my goals. And I want the same thing for you. What would it feel like for you to double a goal that you wanted to reach? What if you said you wanted to have 3 months worth of your income in your bank account and your savings, and you doubled it to 6 months? What would it feel like to say you want to take one family vacation and you take 2? What would it feel like to say you want to write 1 book and you write 2? Think about it. There's an opportunity for you to not only reach goals, but to surpass your goals. And once you practice these strategies and make them part of your life and develop them as habits, you are able to incorporate them with other goals and future goal setting projects so that you can set yourself up for success and reach your potential. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. And again, I will share the link below. Make sure you check it out. Trust me, you do not want to miss this. Bye, ladies.